Somalia, where the figures for rape are horrifying and women in displaced camps are particularly vulnerable. The UN says it recorded at least 1,700 rapes in camps for internally displaced people last year in Mogadishu, and many are thought to have been carried out by members of the Somali security forces. The president recently said that the culprits must be, quote, fought and defeated like Shabab, referring to the Islamic militant group. But rape in Somalia carries huge social stigma, and many victims have no doubt got even more nervous about speaking up since a woman was arrested in January after reporting her rape at the hands of men she says were government soldiers. Convicted of defaming a government institution, she was eventually freed after a huge international outcry. Duncan Woodside reports on Somalia's sexual violence problem from the capital, Mogadishu.
She covers her face to avoid being recognised. One night in January, Mariam, not her real name, was gang-raped by 3 hooded gunmen. The experience has left her traumatised, making day-to-day life a struggle.
They stole everything I owned. Then they told me to undress and said, "Now we want you." I said to them, "You're Muslim. Don't do that." Then they said, "Undress or we will kill you." And they hit me with their rifle. Then they raped me and they left.
This organisation is one of the few in Mogadishu to offer legal aid to rape victims. Halima, a lawyer, is helping Mariam to put together a case against the perpetrators. It's a risky profession. In April, 2 of Halima's colleagues were killed in a suicide attack against Mogadishu's main court buildings.
I'm proud to defend the rights of women, of my sisters. I'm proud of my work.
A new government, in power since September, has promised to punish those responsible for rape.
We are against the violence against the women, and we are doing our best to stop that brutal criminal act against women. We have reformed our laws, and really we are on the way of making some progress.
But this woman was sent to jail for daring to say she'd been raped by government soldiers.
They accused me of lying and said that I was trying to create problems for people. So they arrested me.
Women in displaced camps are among the most vulnerable. A lack of shelter, alongside poor enforcement of the rule of law, means that militias and rogue government soldiers can act with impunity. Since Lul's ordeal, women are more reluctant than ever to go before a judge for fear of suffering the same fate.
And Duncan Woodside joins me now from Nairobi. Hello, Duncan. Now, in your report, the Prime Minister says that progress is being made. What exactly is the government doing to improve matters?
That's right, yes. He's saying that progress is being made and that the government is cracking down on the perpetrators and also launching an information campaign. For example, he pointed to radio broadcasts warning against the consequences of rape. But at the same time, in terms of concrete proposals, concrete legislation, there's been very little progress, really. A new government obviously came into being in September, and a new parliament started operating in November. But over the last 6 months, the new parliament has not passed one single piece of legislation. That's because basically the chamber is bogged down in clan infighting. So obviously that works against any kind of change of the legal environment to better protect the rights of women. Also, what we've got to remember is that large parts of the country, particularly rural areas, are still controlled by the extremist Islamic group Al-Shabaab. And of course, they have a very different view of women's rights than we have here in the West. They are obviously following very strict Sharia law. So in those sorts of areas, it's very, very difficult for women to assert their rights and to speak up in a context where they're being offended against.
Duncan Woodside, thank you very much indeed. That's it for Focus. Time now for sports, including a dream semi-final.